Today's AskReddit post. What is a seemingly ordinary question you can ask somebody that will tell you a lot about their personality? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. My father-in-law went on a job interview about 10 years ago and absolutely nailed the interview. As he was being shown around the office, a high-level person in that company, who normally wasn't there, just happened to be there that day. After they were introduced, he asked my Phil what kind of animal he would be. My Phil said he panicked and picked bear, he's a bigger guy, and the other guy said something along the lines of that's a little too aggressive, maybe this isn't the job for you. So he didn't get the job, but I guess it worked out because he's got a pretty good job now, and if I was him I wouldn't want to work for someone who hires people based on what animal they think they would be. The hiring manager must have been so pissed off. Mayo. You find a great candidate and then your dickhead boss randomly throws him out for no reason. Something like this comes up in Discworld's *MASKERADE*. Throughout the book, Granny Weatherwax asks several people what they'd remove from their house if it was on fire. The last answer she gets is the fire. This is the second time I've seen Discworld mentioned tonight. First time was in a book recommendation sub. I think it's a sign I need to check this out. I had a tar ask me in a get to know you activity what my vision was for a perfect world, and I said round lol. You are the wisest of them all. The perfect world is round. What is the world but a rock floating in space? And life is Balthera 4 round ball rock is everything we ever need to know about happiness. It's not a single question, but by the second or third date with a guy I would ask him to go bowling. As it turns out, there's many ways to play the game. Do they take it too seriously and get competitive or angry if they don't do well? Does he act disinterested or bored of the game? Do they try to teach me how to play, or do they just try to be goofy, have fun with it? Do they order 2 pitchers of beer and get totally smashed? In my opinion, you can learn a lot about a person by the way they approach bowling. What if they bring their ex-wife's dog, a Pomeranian, with ducking papers, during league play? Got this one in an interview once. How do you go about eating a muffin? Learned a lot about muffin anatomy that day. It was a bakery after all. How fun. I take the paper off, if there is paper, and flip it upside down. You eat the muffin stump first, because the top of the muffin is best. Top of the muffin to you. Fav question I heard in an interview. What would you do if you came home and found a penguin in your freezer? It ends up not only being an icebreaker, but a good personality tell. Depends. Is the penguin alive or dead? Answer will vary accordingly. What was the last thing you did that gave you childlike joy? Remember when you used to play Kick the Rock when you were a kid? I went on a walk the other day and my headphones died, so I played Kick the Rock. I tried to see how long I could kick a rock before it went into grass or veered too far away. I managed to get one rock 4 blocks, and for the first time in years I actually felt genuine childlike joy. It was fantastic and simple. I have managed to keep most of my childhood games alive. Racing water drops on the car window is a staple. Saving this thread for my next human interaction. I foresee much less awkward silence. Wish me luck. Also, just an FYI for your next human interaction. Don't call it a human interaction. *STARTS jotting this down. What's the biggest misconception about you? It's a pretty good window into how they see themselves and how they believe others see them. I like to follow up with, why do you think people have that misconception about you? Oh, man. Everyone always thinks I'm a vegan. I've missed out on so much free pizza at work because nobody would tell me. I've heard many people in my life assume I'm vegetarian. I'm not. Never have been. I don't know what it is, but I guess I give off a vegetarian vibe. Very confusing when it happens. Once I was asked this question during a job interview. What is a life motto you often preach, but find difficult to practice? Well, that was a tough one. Very clever question indeed. Clean as you go. 100% believe it is correct. 100% cannot manage it. If you could have one wish, what would it be? I always wanted warp drive. So they would probably think I was a nerd. Infinite wishes. This tells me you're at least moderately intelligent and at least moderately annoying. What are you having for dinner tonight? It's really cool to hear about what people like, what their culture is like, because food is a huge part of that, and generally just how they live. Expensive or cheap, quick or elaborate, adventurous or safe. Probably just microwave mac and cheese instant RL quick. Why? What color folder was math for you growing up? Nothing about the color matters. It's how passionately they defend their color choice. I just stuffed the crumpled papers in my backpack. I ended up in prison LMAO in my 20s LMAO. Shit. My 7-year-old does this. Eater. I'm not actually worried about his future. I was just replying to the previous poster jokingly. Lol. Are you a morning or a night person? Are you a night owl or an early bird? I'm more of a permanently exhausted chicken. If I had a neighbor who woke up and yodeled at the sun every morning at dawn, I'd be permanently exhausted too. My normal getting to know you question, as a former chef, is what is your favorite vegetable? Shit. This is a tough question. Garlic, onion, peas, and cilantro are at the top of my list. Then broccoli, kale, cabbage and carrots. I'm also into corn, buttered and grilled on the cob, popped, hominy, mealed, creamed, syruped. What book would you like to live in? And suddenly I've forgotten every book I've ever read. Yep. Someone asked me my favorite book on a job interview. The only thing I could think of was Harry Potter, and felt like a damn child. What superpower would you pick if you could choose? Where in history would you travel if you could visit and watch for a bit? What would you do if money were no obstacle? Is it better to be born good or overcome an evil nature through effort? The 3 first ones are great. 4 is a bit complicated and would start a philosophical conversation, and I don't know if that would say much about the person. I know it would just annoy me. If you absolutely had to be a murderer, what are your methods? Someone at a wedding party once said quote, drowning without even a second of hesitation. Won't be going beach with that guy. You getting enough fiber? Answers in farts. I like to think that any question in this thread could be answered in farts. If I spend 1 hour doing something difficult with you, how would I describe you to others afterwards? He's freakishly calm. It pissed me off how calm he was. It was like it didn't even matter to him that we didn't get 3 stars on every level of Overcooked. Oh, that game stressed me out something bad. Q. If you were putting together a furniture kit and came to the end where the furniture appeared complete, but you had pieces/hardware left over, what would you do? I always check the parts list to what's actually in the box before I start. Many things include extra hardware or parts. So if I get to the end and have extra pieces left, I know if it's intentional or if I need to find the step I skipped. If you had the choice, would you travel to the past or the future? Tells a lot about their vision or way of thinking. Do they want to change the past or look into the future? Do they want to know about the secrets of the past or the life of the future? Do they want to be prepared for what's next or learn from the past? I just wanna buy BTC. You my friend are wise in the ways of money. I had a girl ask me to describe the color purple on a first date. I answered with Prince. That date ended very well. The only correct answer to that question. What would you do if you won the lottery? For me, it's a non-invasive way of listening to people's attitudes on finance in general, and also how they feel about the rich. But if you think about it, usually what they say vs what they actually do when they get money are completely different things. Exactly. What's one thing that you wish people understood about you? With social media, people have started to confirm norms and a certain standard for their public image. This might bring out some certain hidden thoughts. Do you put the shopping cart away when you're done with it? Edit should have specified this for regions where there's no coin and therefore no incentive to return it other than being a good person. To those of you who do have coin shopping carts, would you still put it back if the coin wasn't a factor? Coin or no coin, always put your cart back. Who doesn't? I'll even pick up another one if I see it on the side. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Are socks underwear? Foot condoms? Asking what someone would do if they found a stray dog. I've gotten many an answer. One that included kicking it, like on a date, and they said that's wild. A friend of mine conducts job interviews and always asks, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? Or is a pop-tartar ravioli? 100 tiny horses. Horses are kinda fragile, but any pissed off animal the size of a horse is bad news. What's the dirtiest word you're willing to say out loud? Cunt. What book has had a significant impact on you? This question can reveal much about their interests, values, and the way they view the world. What the hell is wrong with you? If someone handed you $10 billion right now and told you fix our country, how would you go about doing so? And X200B. The answer would not only give a window into what they perceive as problems, but also a window into their thought process and how grounded their thinking is or isn't. My response would be to go and speak to policy experts, because I'd like to do the most good without poopty unintended consequences and expenses. Like, there are overarching areas I would be looking at, healthcare access. But other people have already spent their life learning what does and doesn't work. So I'm not going to personally have the best solution. What was the hardest you've ever laughed? I would say to ask them what they think about thinking of pets as family members. Like how they treat their pets is a huge tell on what kind of person they are. Also maybe their reactions to animals they don't like. Like I don't like cats, but I wouldn't tell someone to get rid of their cat because of my dislike, but I have seen people have extreme reactions for something that truly doesn't even affect them. Like, do you like/have cats? What's your favorite dinosaur? Always works for me. I still ask him this question to this day. He said it was a triceratops this last time because he liked its little hood. The time before it was a velociraptor because he was missing his chickens. So if nobody has asked you recently, what is your favorite dinosaur and why? Stegosaurus. I wanna dunk that little noggin. Watch out for the thagnetizer. If you were in a cover band, what would it be? Who is your favorite classic cartoon Disney character? Abraham De Lassie, Giuseppe Cassie, Thomas O'Malley. I'm king of the highway. Do you like Spider-Man tells me everything I need to know? Username checks out. Which way do you put your toilet roll on the roller? Aka, do you have cats? What are your thoughts on speeding? Are they willing to bend the rules when they are inconvenient? My answer to that would be depends on how fast I need to go. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Lots of people who think it's ordinary to ask weirdly personal questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I was asked this on a date, and it spawned a 12-hour conversation between the two of us. We are still together 21 years later. I would hate this question. I would too. But I'm not a goal-setting type of person. My only goal is to do my very best every day. I don't really care what that looks like 5 years on. As long as I'm happy, safe, and healthy. In fact, that is my only goal. Every other detail is irrelevant and boring and unlikely to go as planned anyway. I had a work team do a series of get to know you questions. One asked was what fictional character would you want to be? Someone said the Joker. Another said Light Yagami. I learned a lot about them just from that one question. What's your current passion project? Doesn't matter if it's big or small. I want to know where you're eager to invest your time. How do you organize your spices? Never ask someone for a fun fact. Ask for a weird fact. So much more random. Creative. Personalized. People share more interesting things when they are given permission to be weird. What do you think of astrology? I think that regardless of what they believe, it's real or not real, the way that they react is very telling. There is a major difference between not believing it and saying something like I'm not a believer of it myself and don't totally understand it, but I get that it's a system that some people believe, and so who am I to dump on it? And getting unnecessarily turned and angry over being even asked this question. My answer is, I think astrology is very interesting as it relates to astronomy. Like, being a Sagittarius means that the constellation of Sagittarius was in line with the sun on my birth date. However, I see no reason to believe that these things lining up has any effect on how my life is lived or how my personality is shaped. Whoa, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.